Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Icon. Thanks for checking out another episode. Today's video, we're actually going to be watching a Scump POV from this release of Black Ops Cold War multiplayer reveal. And in this video, I want to make sure that we're taking an approach that's super competitive. So everything that I say throughout this video is going to have a competitive twist from it. So I'm not necessarily just going to be talking about spawns or talking about the gun recoil or whatever. I just want to take what I saw in the 2 or 3 hours that I watched this gameplay and apply it to how things work in competitive. So with that out of the way, first thing that I'll say is that as you see Scump playing in this, you're going to see slide canceling quite a bit. So at the beginning of this, that was kind of the big topic, right? Everybody was concerned about slide canceling is back, rip my controllers, I'm gonna have to do this all over again, my fingers aren't gonna be able to take it, so on and so forth. But it seems like that isn't quite the case. Now again, as you're watching him, you'll notice that the movement is very much the same. When he comes up off a spawn, he's able to slide, he's able to cancel it, he's able to quickly ADS, he's able to slide cancel behind headies like what you just saw literally right there. He went up to the heady, he slide canceled, went into his ADS, and then he was just basically just popped up right behind that heady. But we do have a little bit of news. So listen, I know that this isn't the absolute best production value, but we did end up getting this tweet here from one of the devs, one of the game designers over at Treyarch when this was over. So he tweeted, "Early feedback on our alpha has been great. I'm hearing about slide canceling from the pros. Please know that just after this build was made, we fixed the slide canceling abuse case that is being discussed. Beta will have appropriate slide cancel penalties and oh so much more." So if you are reading that, that has to be one of the best pieces of news for a couple reasons, right? One, I think everybody's pretty much over slide canceling, right? We've seen it the entire year. It's just gone on for so long. It's a broken mechanic. It's not something that was intended to be in the game. Whether you think it makes the skill gap larger or not, that's, you know, a total different debate, but it's not intended to be there, and I just hated it. But I was still okay with it, right? It wasn't the worst thing in the world. It wasn't the best thing in the world either. But one reason why I like this is because obviously they're making changes and they're listening to the community. That's the biggest part for me, is that they realize that we might have messed up a little bit. So let's go ahead and let's fix this. Let's make sure that there is a penalty to trying to slide cancel. You're not going to be able to do it. And then the other part is just that they're listening to pros, right? That's something that Infinity Ward never really does. It's just not what they're known for. Ever from the very beginning of that release, of Modern Warfare release, we heard the game developers talking about how we want to make sure that there's safe places around the map. We want to make sure that new players feel welcome, and we built that into the game, and yada yada. It's totally different with Treyarch. They have competitive integrity in mind, and I love seeing that. And I just wanted to make sure that when we're talking about slide canceling, it doesn't seem like it's going to be there for long. Next thing that I'll talk about is the game modes. So we didn't get too much about league play. We didn't get too much about the CDL. They said, and for all of you CDL fans, stay tuned. So it is coming in the future, but they did say the competitive game mode control returns. So if that doesn't sell it as that third game mode, I'm not really sure what would, right? They literally said the competitive game mode control returns. So it seems like, at least initially, we'll be going away from domination. Thank goodness. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to play it. It's boring. Doesn't have a lot of strategy involved. It seems like domination is going away. My best guess, based off what they said and what others in the community have said, control would be that third game type. And I think that is a home run, right? I think it's going to increase viewership. I think the pros want to play it. I think audiences want to watch it. So I'm excited to see what happens in that regards from control. people were speculating, would it be CTF, or obviously not going to be uplink, right? Because it doesn't have jetpacks similar to the way AW did. Probably wasn't going to be blitz like it was back in Ghost. So does seem like Control is that last game mode in the competitive making its rounds. After that, next thing I want to talk about is, as you're watching Scump here, I picked this gameplay because he starts with an AR, and then he switched it up, and now he's using an AK-74U. And he said multiple times, even in this gameplay in specifically, that this seems to be an SMG meta. The SMGs just seem to be a little bit better. They're a little bit faster. It's easy to kill at range. Even here, as you're seeing him, watching him get kills up close, it seems like it's pretty good. The clips aren't very big, but that's okay, especially in 4v4. But those last few kills that we just saw out of Scump right there, you can see the killing potential at medium and short ranges. At long ranges, I think it is kind of hard to hit their shots. Granted, they'll get used to it and they'll beam just because they're pros and that's what they do. Everybody's aim is just unbelievable. But I do think at ranges, like that kill right there, it just took a little bit longer. It seemed to take a little bit longer than normal. And I think that this seems to be pretty balanced. But in terms of the meta that's ahead of us, to me, it feels like it's going to be a 1 AR, 3 SMG meta. Maybe one person can flex depending on the size of the map. But SMGs seem to be the dominant guns so far. We'll see where it ends up going, but that's just my initial thought. One bad piece of news, depending on what you're looking for, I guess, is that kill streaks don't reset. So if you're looking on the right-hand side, actually it's right above my head, you can't see it too well, but there are 3 kill streaks listed right there. And at the very top, so this one right here that I'm touching with my cursor, you can see this tiny little bar is filling up. And when you die, that bar doesn't reset. So essentially what happens is you do have to go on sprees, you do have to go on streaks in order to get those higher ones in the time limit of the game, but they don't reset. So I don't know how that would work out for competitive, just because it seems like a specialist bonus to me overall. That's really what it feels like, is that eventually someone's going to get their Predator missile. Eventually someone's going to get their lightning strike. So I don't know. I like the fact that if you were hot back in Black Ops 4 and some previous games before that involved streaks, and you were able to put together 5, 6, 7 kills, you were rewarded for it. I don't like the idea of, sure, you could play really good and get it, or you could play mediocre, above average, and also get some of those streaks. So it doesn't seem like it's a viable option for competitive. Again, we'll see what happens, but that's just my initial thoughts. Next thing here, you've probably picked up on it a little bit throughout the course of this gameplay, but the time to kill, I think, seems pretty good. The SMGs, you can see that they kill, but it's not quite like a melt machine like the MP5 was. When it comes to ARs, they definitely don't seem to kill as fast as the M4 does. And if I had to place it, I don't think it's as long as it was in Black Ops 4, but it's definitely much longer than it was in Modern Warfare. And I think that's a good thing, right? Because what it does is it allows for a little bit of escapability. It's not like you come around a corner, there's somebody there, you die in half a second, you can't react to it. That's basically what we saw throughout the entirety of the year when it came to Modern Warfare, is that if you got into a gun battle, you didn't have a chance to counter, you didn't have a chance to really run away. Whereas in Black Ops 4, you saw a little bit more elusiveness and escapability. And that's what I'm looking for in this next game. And I think that the time to kill looks really good so far. Again, we'll see as time moves on and pros get to play this a little bit longer and their aim gets better, they get more used to the weapons. But initially, that's kind of where I'm at, and that's what I'm feeling. After time to kill, next thing is I want to talk about the wild card rework. So there are a couple wild cards that I think are super important. There's one that allows you to get extra attachments on your weapon. So that might be something that ARs use. There's also a wild card that allows you to use 3 extra perks. So this, my initial thought is that if you're running an SMG, you're probably going to want more perks. If you're running an AR, you might want the more attachments so that you are more lethal at range. Again, I don't know what's going to happen, but that's just my initial thought. So it seems like those are the two wild cards that are really going to be used. Comments down below. Let me know what you think about the wild cards overall. Next thing, and this is a big change from Black Ops 4. It changed to Modern Warfare, and it's changing again back to Black Ops Cold War, is that you can no longer drop shot. Like, you can do it, but if you try to drop shot, it's going to take away your ADS. So like in Modern Warfare, if you ADS and you lay down, you can still ADS throughout the entirety of that engagement. In Black Ops 4 and in Black Ops Cold War, you can't do that. You go to lay down, it makes you hip fire, and that makes it far less lethal. So that's one thing that is a little bit more competitive when you're talking about Black Ops Cold War, is that you can no longer drop shot. Big thing here that I'm sure everybody loves, there's no mounting, there's no doors, so there's none of that gimmick gameplay, right? You're not going to be peeking through doors, and I just hate that stuff. So that's out of there. Mounting makes killing a lot easier. That is gone. I also love that. And the last thing that I'll talk about as this comes to a close is that this game is cross-platform, it's cross-progression, and it's cross-generation. So you can play whether you're on PC or Xbox or PS4. You can play whether you have a PS4 or a PS5. And if you have this game in two different places, if you have it on PS5 and on PC, then your progression will bounce back and forth depending on which platform you're playing on. I think that is incredible. So I know that this was a fairly quick video, but I think we were able to cover quite a bit of things. In the comments down below, let me know what you feel. Do you agree that control is back? Hopefully that's our game mode. What do you think about the time to kill? What do you think about drop shotting? What do you think about the slide cancel changes they've talked about? All that, put it down below. I'm super excited to hear from you guys. I'm super excited to get my hands on this game. Seems like it's going to be about a month or so, but with that, guys, if you're new around here, make sure you have that hit that subscribe button. I'm going to have you guys covered all the way up and through the release of Black Ops Cold War, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave a like, it helps the channel. Thank you guys so much. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.